Hello, can everybody hear me? Go ahead and type yes in the chat if you can hear me, okay? Awesome. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm Anna Sanford. Welcome back to our ZagTalk 101 webinar series. Today we are with Phillip Tyler from Campus Security and Public Safety. If you have any questions during this webinar, feel free to put them in the chat and we'll get to them at the end of the Q&A. For those of you that are new, we do this webinar series weekly at noon on Wednesdays. They're also recorded and posted to our YouTube channel. So I'm going to go ahead and pass things off to Phillip. And I also think that we're going to have some guest appearances by some of his other coworkers. All right, I'm going to head on over to him.
Good morning. My name is, as Anna described, Phillip Tyler. I am the Crime Prevention Education Officer with Campus Security and Public Safety. Can everyone hear me? Excellent. All right, I'm going to go ahead and bring up a slide presentation here that we're going to use for working with here. Or Anna, do you have that in the background?
Yes, I can pull that up real quick if you'd like.
I appreciate that. With me today are the Associate Director, Scott Wittel, and our Director, Becky Wilkey, and they will be here to answer questions as well at the end of this brief presentation. Wonderful. Thank you very much. So welcome to all the families, parents and families that are involved in our webinar today, our Zag 101 webinar. I just want to go through some brief information about campus security and public safety, and then really I want to open up the floor for discussions. And again, you have three professionals here, the Director, Associate Director, and myself, the Crime Prevention Education Officer, that are here to field any questions you might have regarding campus security. So let's start by a quick introduction. Campus security serves as the security element for Gonzaga University and the Logan Neighborhood, which is the immediate surrounding neighborhood for Gonzaga University. And we at Campus Security believe that security of our campus is a responsibility shared by all members of this community. And security awareness and crime prevention protect individuals and the community as a whole. So when we as a community are engaged with and contribute to the security and emergency preparedness, we create a safe campus for both living and learning. Next slide, please. So what do we offer for our students here at Gonzaga, our faculty and staff? We offer 24/7, 365 days a year proactive patrol. We provide that patrol on the campus itself and any university owned in areas around the university. And we use that to deter and detect crimes and to protect our facilities and make a safe environment for the people and the property of Gonzaga University. What else do we provide for our students and our staff here? Well, we have what we call safety escorts. And these escorts are provided by Campus Security and Public Safety to any student on any area of our campus, as well as a portion of our Logan neighborhood adjacent to Gonzaga University, when they do not feel safe, when they have a sense of fear from traveling from one destination to the other. We want to make sure that our students are always safe traversing the areas of Gonzaga University and the surrounding areas. But there is a caveat to these safety escorts. We do not provide escorts to bars, to businesses, or to the downtown core area. But all they need to do if they have a security concern is to call us at 509-313-2222. And I would ask the parents that are on this call as well and the families to take that number down and remember that number as one of your first resources for assistance with Gonzaga, 509-313-2222. Also, throughout our campus, we have spread about our campus emergency blue lights. Now, these lights are a one-touch contact for any emergencies, any safety issues, any concerns your student might have on our campus. These phones are a direct dial connection to our campus security dispatch officers, and they can request an officer to respond to that area or to report an incident. We'll train cameras on that area, and we'll get to that response within minutes. So those are, there's about 35 of those around our campus. They're well lit, well maintained, and I'd ask that you have your students get familiar with those locations on our campus. So what do we do to provide safety in our Logan neighborhood if your student is lucky enough to live off campus, outside of campus dormitories? Well, in the immediate area surrounding our university called the Logan Neighborhood, we have a large number of our students that occupy those homes out there, rental apartments, etc., as well as Gonzaga-owned property. We maintain a cordial relationship with our neighborhood there because we want our relationships to be productive with those neighborhoods. We have direct links and great relationship with our Spokane Police Department, and they provide patrols in those areas out there on a regular basis. We also employ them via contract on weekends and holidays when there are heightened activities in that area for our students and our student population. And they are the main responders to that area in the Logan neighborhood. So anytime your student or family member feels unsafe out in that area, whether it be for a police call, a fire call, a medical emergencies, they should always call 911. What I would say though is the Logan neighborhood is relatively safe, but like any other neighborhood in the city, crimes do occur out there. And they should also exercise caution when they're out there in those neighborhoods, particularly walking in the dark hours. And again, that's why we offer those safety escorts for our students traversing those areas. Lastly, for our slide presentation, again, these are young adults living out there on their own with their associates. And in the case of fire or medical emergency or a police emergency, they need to contact 911 if they're living off that campus. On the campus, they are still free to call 911. We will probably be the first responders to get there. When it's safe to do so, we'd ask that they contact campus security also at 509-313-2222. And again, we work in partnership with our emergency and our first responders and provide whatever assistance and directions that they need in either crowd control, building entry, or any other information that we might have available to us that assist in that emergency. All right, that's just a quick overview, but I really wanted to take the time that we have together to field any questions you might have.
Okay. Dokie. So if you guys have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat below. I'm going to go ahead and keep the presentation open so we can scroll back through that if need be. But please put any questions that you have in the chat. Okie dokie. Looks like we have one question. Are students able to carry pepper spray on campus?
That's a great question. I'm gonna direct that question to our Director of Campus Security and Crime Prevention, Campus Security and Public Safety, Becky Wilkey.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Good. Thank you for unmuting me. I was trying to type super fast. Yes, students are able to carry pepper spray on campus. However, what we do ask students prior to or as they purchase the pepper spray is to learn how to use it, learn how to aim it, go out into an open field and practice, and take into consideration if you feel you do need to deploy it, please know the area that you're in. Like, obviously, you want to be careful if you're reaching into a backpack and it's in there and you're in a classroom. So just be very cognizant of where it is at all times on your person.
Okay, the next question, is security armed or unarmed normally?
I'll go ahead and take that since I'm already unmuted. We are an unarmed campus security department. We have a limited commission with the Spokane Police Department. So what that means is we have access to records and training. When you see us, we are in full uniform. We do have a duty belt that consists of handcuffs because we are able to detain folks if we need to. And that's usually non-GU community members who are on campus for the wrong reason. We have a collapsible baton. We do carry OC spray, and then any other types of tools that we need, such as, gloves, masks, etc. We are in very close proximity to Spokane Police Department at all times. The response time to our university is just minutes.
All right, we had a question sent privately to us. What are the statistics at the school for rapes or sexual assaults on campus?
Phillip, do you have that handy?
I do not have that handy.
Yeah,
although we are required to produce an annual report, and we have a specialist that does that for us. Her name is Taylor Jordan. She's not here, but that annual report is available for viewing, and I think it was just produced, I want to say last year, Becky, if I'm correct.
Yeah, every October we are required to publish that. I'll try to find it here real quick and put the link in there. But this is, she works closely with our Title IX coordinator. And a lot of times, because students do not have to report these incidents to us, sometimes we don't know about it. So a lot of times we'll find out in the statistics part, just because of that's the way the student wants to proceed. Sometimes they just want to report it and don't want anything done. So we do as much as we possibly can. Sometimes we don't know the perpetrator. There's just a lot of factors involved, but let me try to find our annual report and put that link up there so people can peruse it.
While we're waiting for Becky to find that link, if you guys have any questions, put them in the chat. All right, we got a new one. What type of student jobs are available in your department? Are there any positions available for this fall?
That's a great question. I'm going to direct that question to our associate director, Scott Wittel.
Hi, my name's Scott Wittel. Usually student jobs that are usually available are for help our parking department. They help the front desk, meeting customers and anybody with come to the front door. We also, within parking, they do parking enforcement. They can go out and write tickets to assist in our parking department. Sometimes we also have work studies to assist in projects with some of our administrative staff. For this fall, for now, is usually we are looking more for parking.
Sometimes we are able to hire, excuse me, Scott, if you don't mind if I jump in.
No, go ahead.
Sometimes we're able to hire interns. So we do have campus security houses also emergency preparedness, as well as our behavioral intervention team. That's like a threat assessment. We've been able to hire interns for those specific positions. Right now, there is a little bit of a hiring freeze because of COVID, yay, which is really sad. But and oftentimes we have, we also house lost and found. So we will use students either separate or with the parking program to help us out with the administrative functions of that. And I did put up the annual, it's called the annual fire report, but it has all of our statistics. Somebody asked about drinks or alcohol on campus and statistics. You can find those in that web page too on our website.
Okey-dokey. So that answers the question that was above the link for statistics. We have another question that was sent privately to us. How safe is it to walk outside on campus at night?
Yeah, so this is Phil Tyler, the Crime Prevention and Education Officer. Statistically, walking on our campus is relatively safe. We keep our campus well maintained, well groomed, and well lit in the campus core. When you're walking out into the Logan neighborhood, again, those areas are maintained by our city of Spokane, right? So the street lighting may not be well, but again, if our students are concerned about traveling in those spaces, they can surely contact campus security for a safety escort. We also provide safety tips and training when you're going to do that walking. We ask you don't walk by yourself. We ask that you contact someone and let them know where you're going, where you're heading to, approximate time of arrival. We ask you stay in well-lit areas, travel on public spaces, not down alleyways, and these kind of things. So again, going back to the main core of the question, walking on the campus proper is a relatively safe experience because we keep it well maintained, well lit, and there's always within close proximity that blue light availability if you are concerned.
Another question, are students taught how to react to an active shooter?
Yes, this is Phil Tyler once again, and we do those trainings, not only for our students, but our staff and faculty as well. Those will happen periodically throughout the year. It's an occurrence, sadly, that's happening more often in our nation. So we want our students and staff to be prepared for those incidents if unfortunately it does happen on campus. But we use the same training that the Department of Justice and Homeland Security uses, that is run, hide, fight training. And we train them on how to react and how to respond to those appropriate situations. What we'd ask of our parents that are listening in here is to sign up for your Zag Alert for your students. So if something like that were to happen on campus, you'd be made aware of it. And you'd understand that we are responding and reacting in appropriate ways to those things. And we'll pass out information and share information about those occurrences if they were unfortunately to happen via that Zag Alert.
Okie dokie. Next question. What is the procedure once a sexual assault is reported?
Yes, and I'll throw that question back to our director again, Becky Wilkey.
Great. Just a quick question. Are you having a separate webinar for Title IX?
No, we are not.
Okay, that might be a good one because I don't want to overspeak and I don't want to speak for them. But there's a couple of different processes that happen. Campus security and public safety are usually not the first people to find out. Students usually don't want to contact us. We do have a separate Title IX department that handles all of the reports, the interviews, coordinating resources for students, internal resources as well as external, because a lot of students don't want to really share their story amongst Gonzaga administrators too much. But when that does happen, the Title IX office will interview all parties involved. If a student, a victim in a sexual assault wants to report it to the police department, we encourage that, but we cannot make them and we cannot call on behalf of them. They can contact us if they would like. The only time that I believe, and again, I really don't want to speak out of turn here for Title IX, but if there is a minor on campus, then the rules change a little bit. We will contact Spokane Police Department right away, but we cannot be a victim for the victim, if that makes any sense. But we always strongly encourage them. If they don't want to right away, we will reach back around and try to help them. We'll guide them through the process. We'll try to make it as painless as possible, if at possible. You know, it could go all the way up to an arrest and conviction, or it could be just an internal process if that's what the student wants, as far as disciplinary action and expulsion of a suspect. There are just so many different routes and avenues, and that's really directed by the victim in the case.
Thank you, Becky. That was a very in-depth explanation and we appreciate it. Moving on to the next question that was sent privately to us. Do you offer a self-defense class?
Yes, this is Phillip Tyler once again, Crime Prevention Education Officer. We absolutely do, and we have a very experienced officer, over 25 years of experience in martial arts, that provides a self-defense class to our students. We usually run up to a max of 25 students. We do those twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. We've had to shorten those time frames to Thursdays only last year. And of course, this year is going to be unique because of COVID-19. We may not be able to have, and probably won't be able to have, any in-person trainings. But we are working diligently to see about some online ability to teach that self-defense course. But it's a popular course. It is a course that students take and continue to take and bring others to the course. We at Gonzaga Campus Security and Public Safety like to say CSPS is our sensei, and GU is our dojo. And so we encourage any students to come. It's free. They're in the evenings when we're available to do them again. And I would encourage the parents to instruct their students, if they have an opportunity, to join in. It's great, not only for learning self-defense, but learning self-awareness about how to interact and stay aware when you're out in public, maybe by yourself, etc. It's a great place to build camaraderie with your other students on campus. And it also creates a familiarity with your campus security officers, because you will have some of them over there assisting our instructor as well.
All right, thank you for that. Moving on to the next question. In the case of a medical emergency, such as a broken leg or assault or other medical emergencies other than illness, how do you coordinate with local emergency rooms or hospitals?
Sure, I'll answer that. Usually if there was an medical emergency and then they get transported to the hospital, usually our housing staff, the resident directors, will reach out to the student at the hospital. If they have no other friends or family, to attend them, they will reach out to them, coordinate with them. And if they need like a ride home, they'll coordinate with Uber Health to get them a ride back to the campus if need be. That's usually what how we coordinate with them. The housing department usually does all the outreach at the hospitals for our students who are in there.
Awesome, thank you for that. Next question, are students oriented as to course of action in the event of a campus threat / lockdown?
Yes, this is Phillip Tyler once again. Absolutely. So I work closely with our emergency preparedness coordinator, and we do trainings and we do exercises relative to fire or natural disasters, and how to respond to those lockdowns or shelter in place. We work closely with our residence hall directors and resident assistants to coordinate those kind of emergency plans. As a matter of fact, I'm in the process of working with them now about updating those emergency plans and making sure they have routes and procedures in place prior to an emergency occurring. So it's something we do annually. And we work with the student population to make sure they're aware of that, particularly when they're in their academic spaces or when they're in their residence halls.
Awesome. And then we have two questions that I believe can be answered by a link that Becky put in the chat. How do parents sign up for Zag Alert, and how do we confirm if we are signed up for Zag Alert?
Yes, I put the link in there for folks to take a look at. And a lot of times what parents will do is have their students sign them up. So for instance, I'm signed up on Zag Alert, but I could also sign my husband up so he can get an alert as well if something is happening on campus, just so he's aware. You can put an emergency contact in the Zag Alert form. You can put parents, friends, or the parents, you can go on there on your own and sign up through the, I believe it's the MyConnect app. I believe that's in that link that I sent. And if anybody's ever having any problems trying to get on there, you can certainly contact us one-on-one and we can walk you through it.
Awesome. We had a question sent privately to us. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to answer this. It might be more of a housing question, but which dorms have safes in the rooms?
I can go ahead and answer that.
Yeah.
I don't believe that they come standard, and Phil and Scott, if you know something different, let me know. But we do know that you can sign up with Plant to have a safe delivered to your room. Does that sound right, Scott and Phil?
Some of the dorms, to my knowledge, some dorms have them, but not all of them. But if you need one, you can sign up with Plant Service to have one.
Yeah.
Usually, I think you can do it. You can probably do it through housing. You can just request for your RD, and they'll make the arrangements to get a safe in your room.
Yeah, I don't think they can bring their own, can they?
I don't think so.
I think for emergencies, I think we need to be able to get like medication or whatever.
Correct.
That has happened before, so.
All right, moving on to the next question. Is there any educational work to make sexual assault something that is not a private issue, but a community issue? Are there measures to increase safety by making it less of a shameful event and instead educating students on supporting each other as a community?
Sure. So every April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month, and Campus Security partners with both our local Lutheran Services Northwest and our campus partners to share information about that and bring awareness to it through our various media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. With regards to changing the policy, that's a Department of Education standard. There's been changes made with the new director, Betsy DeVos, obviously relative to Title IX. It's a question that posed probably more aptly to our Title IX coordinators. But what I will say is we have a policy here on Gonzaga University where Zags help Zags. And again, when we are sharing out this educational information every April, multiple universities across the nation do this. We try to make it an atmosphere where it is not about the victim themselves. It's about how we help one another get through this traumatic exercise. I would add that on college campuses nationwide, annually about 97,000 students between the ages of 18 and 24 report experiencing sexual assault or date rape as is related to alcohol use. So that's one of the things we also try to tie in there about responsible alcohol use and no underage drinking to make it a safe environment for our students.
Awesome. Moving on to the next question. Can anybody enter and hang out on campus?
So Gonzaga is a urban campus, meaning it's located within the city of Spokane. It's buttressed by the beautiful Spokane River and what we call our Centennial Trail Loop or the Centennial Trail. It doesn't have walls or fences, so citizens are able to walk about our campus. They cannot enter into academic spaces or residence halls because those are controlled by what we call proximity locks. You must have a identification card that gets you into those spaces. But can they walk around, sit on our benches, take in the beautiful landscaping and the buildings and structures? The answer is yes, but so do our campus security officers. And they are about those very same spaces as people who interact with our campus, either on foot, in marked vehicles, on bicycles when the weather is appropriate. So we're aware of those spaces, and we work really good as a community to identify individuals who are on campus to do nefarious things, right? We have great students, faculty, and staff and witnesses that can provide that information so we can interact and interdict in those circumstances before anything negative occurs. So broadly, to answer that question, yes, people are allowed to be on our open campus, but if they do things that endanger our student or the educational aspect of the university, we can then, of course, detain and then trespass them from coming back onto our campus.
Awesome. Next question. Emergencies occur unexpectedly. Does Gonzaga conduct drills to practice response to events?
Our crime prevention and crime prevention education officer, he works with housing to do fire drills periodically each semester. to make sure that students are, when the fire alarm goes off, they do evacuate. Our department has been, doing our own drills and scenario-based training to prepare for emergencies in multiple situations. So yes.
I'm going to jump on there too. We do have an emergency management team here at Gonzaga, and we do also partner up with our emergency preparedness manager, and we do campus-wide scenario type trainings, and a lot of it, we really try to make it realistic, right? So we're talking about the potential for active shooter or major weather events, or any type of catastrophic events, right? So the train tracks are just a couple blocks from us. What about a derailment? What if they have hazardous materials? We have specific buildings on campus that house hazardous materials. We meet with them. What is your process protocol? How do we go over that and test it? So there are many different committees on campus that all coordinate, and we'll do tabletops, we'll do practices, we'll do drills. Like Scott said, our department will do scenario-based training, which involves, the use of our cameras and communications officers, our security officers. We monitor alarms, over 600 cameras on campus. So we need to make sure that we are ready, and that our actions are just rote, and we can just respond quickly and coordinate with the Spokane Police Department.
Awesome. Thank you, Scott and Becky. Moving on to the next question. Can a friend who is visiting a student stay in the dorm?
That's actually a housing policy, but there are visiting hours posted on every dorm. So technically, can they stay overnight? The answer is no, because it's a housing
Actually, I got to jump on here. Sorry, that changed. And so that's, again, a really good housing question. They do have an opportunity to stay overnight now, but they do have to coordinate that with housing. So they moved from no overnight guests to it really depends, and you have to work with the housing folks to do that. That actually just changed in the contract.
Thank you.
Are you going to have a housing webinar?
We will not have a housing webinar, but they will be presenting during parent and family orientation in a pre-record, where parents and families will have the opportunity to send questions in through a form, and then they will email back with their answers.
Okay, that would be a great question for them to clarify the specifics on that I don't have the specifics on.
Mm-hmm. Right. Moving on to the next question. Can you talk about the homeless population in the Logan area? Is it small/large? Has it been an issue on campus?
Yeah, this is Phillip Tyler once again. So that's a question that comes up quite frequently because we are an urban campus and we're an open campus. We are also on the southeast side of the campus and the southwest side off the campus particularly. We house we have two homeless shelters. The one is called the Union Gospel Mission, and the other is called the Salvation Army, and they have an emergency shelter there. With regards to whether that population is large or small, the population is transitory. So depending on the time of the year and the season, it can be larger or smaller. Has it been an issue on campus? The answer is it's an issue within the Spokane community. So that means it would affect the campus as well. But we do work really closely with our Spokane police partners, including our neighborhood resource officer, to really mitigate the impact on the students and the educational environment. What I mean by that is, if we find a homeless person on our campus occupying spaces that they should not, we do a couple things, right? We recognize the humanity in individuals as part of Gonzaga's mission. And we try to find them and connect them to resources so they can utilize those resources versus trying to utilize Gonzaga's space. Obviously, if they're not cooperative, we work with our law enforcement partners to get them removed legally. Secondly, you know, we do have, when spaces are open to the public, they do come in and utilize our facilities, but we've changed that dynamic now. So all the buildings, again, as I said earlier, will be locked down and controlled by a proximity card. So they won't be able to access those spaces that were generally open to a public. So homeless population is a growing concern for any city around the nation, any university that's an open university such as Gonzaga, but we work really diligently to mitigate any of those impact on our student population, recognizing again the humanity of individuals as well.
Okie dokie, thank you, Phillip. That is the last question that we have in, oh, we got another one sent to us privately. Is campus security planning to help with any COVID plans?
I'll take that. This is Becky. I am on the Greater Pandemic Response Task Force for Gonzaga. We meet, the whole group, which is about 60 of us, meet once or twice a week, and then we all have subcommittees, and there's 11 subcommittees. So you can imagine how much work we are doing daily to try to get all the logistics in place and prepare and plan for the safest return for our students as possible. So yes, it is a daily involvement with all the plans to be able to open up. And we coordinate with the Spokane Regional Health District. We have some amazing people on this task force. And if I went into the details, everybody would probably have a headache right now, but we are working night and day. And that is security included, emergency preparedness, and also our behavioral intervention team.
And for those of you that are curious, I do know that the university plans on sending out a comprehensive reopening plan at the end of July. So a lot of your questions about reopening will have answers in that reopening plan. All right. Moving on to the next question. The Spokane Police Department reports unusually frequent crimes in the area just a few blocks north of campus, as well as the downtown Spokane area. Are entering freshmen who may not know the area specifically advised or educated about the city and neighborhoods surrounding the campus?
So this is Phillip Tyler once again. On a normal school year, we would have what we call our parent-family orientation meetings. They would meet in these large auditoriums, and we talk about the surrounding area. We talk about the city of Spokane. We talk about our interactions. Obviously, now we'll be doing it this way, online and via meetings, Zoom meetings. But I would tell you this, we do what we call safety talks with all of our incoming freshmen in their dormitories and talk about safety and security of the areas surrounding the campus, including our Logan neighborhood. We do talk about specifically how they can access those crime reports via campus security or the Spokane Police Department themselves. Do we tell them directly to educate themselves about the surrounding areas? Not in a direct fashion, but we make them aware about anything that is pertinent to their safety. We're required by the Clery Act to report some things to our students, family, and staff that are within the geographic boundaries of the university, so they can be made aware of those things that are happening out there that may cause a risk to them.
Okie dokie. Now that was the last question that we have in the chat. We are going to stick around for a couple more minutes in case anybody has some other questions that they would like to put in the chat. But other than that, that will be the end of our webinar. I'd like to say thank you to Phillip, Scott, and Becky for joining us today. And again, we'll stick around for a couple of minutes for those that have additional questions, but thank you everybody for joining us today.
Anna, this is Phil once again.
Yes.
When they send out the parent and family orientation video, August 1st, I think it's coming out, will parents have an opportunity then to connect, as you described earlier, in an email format to ask questions to us? And we'd be more than happy to continue this conversation and answering some of those questions.
Yes, that video will be on the website. I believe it's going out in our first session of videos. Starting, the link will go out August 1st, but I believe that they're being posted August 3rd. And with that video, there'll be a link to a form that they can fill out with their question, and then that question will be sent to both the contact that we have from your office and then somebody from our office. So that is also another way that you guys can get your questions answered if you didn't get the opportunity to ask them today.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Anna. We want to make sure that Gonzaga's campus security and crime prevention and Gonzaga campus security overall is an approachable and welcoming group. So if there's any questions that they might have after they connect with that video, we'd love to answer those questions for them to allay any fears or concerns about their students that they're going to put in our hands to keep safe.
Awesome. Okie dokie. There was another question on here. It said, probably not for this group, but will there be an online only option for the fall semester? At the moment, our office doesn't have an answer to this question, and I'm assuming that yours won't as well.
Well, I have a little insight because of the task force, but I think as we get closer to August 1st, we are going to have a better idea of what that's going to look like. I know that's not a yes or no, but there are conversations about it. So I'll just say that for now. So it might come out in a communication from the president with the comprehensive plan, because it is literally changing every couple of days. So we want to have the most updated information for folks as possible.
Awesome, thank you. One more question. Are the dorm rooms fairly safe, assuming doors are open a lot? Are there issues with theft?
So again, this is Phil Tyler. So our dorms are relatively safe. Again, they're controlled by access locks that only students and appropriate members, campus security, maintenance staff, etc., have access to. The real issue with dormitory security is it takes those residents to apply those security measures to make it safe as well. Meaning, they shouldn't be propping doors open. They shouldn't be allowing people inside those spaces that they don't recognize visually. You know, interior space, you know, we're all humans. We're all fallible. We say in our safety talks, if you're going to leave your dormitory room for extended periods of time, lock your door. Because, you know, things happen, things go missing. The best way to prevent those things from going missing is to make sure you lock your door. If you get locked out, call campus security at 509-313-2222, and we'll be happy to get you in there. But overall, dormitories are safe. Again, within the parameters of things occurring in our dormitories, student to student, they happen. But we do our best to mitigate that, working hand in hand with our housing staff, our RAs and RDs specifically. So the question, I don't see it up on the list anymore, but yes, our dormitories are relatively safe. Things do occur, however, but we ask our students to partner with us in making their environment safe as well.
Awesome, thank you, Phillip. Again, we'll be sticking around for a couple of minutes if anybody has some last minute questions. That will be it from us. Thank you. Another question, do some dorms have a printing shop on the first floor? I know that there are printers located in Hemmingson and in the library. I don't believe that any of the dorms have printers located in them.
You're correct about that.
Awesome. And my coworker just said that Coughlin does have a printer located in it.
They do, because they have a classroom in the floor there too. So some of the resident halls that are used that do have classrooms in them, they will have printing capability.
All right. Another question. Can a student bring his or her own printer? Yes, they can bring their own printer as long as they have room in their dorm. And another question, who was it that we can contact about finding out to get a safe for the dorm room?
I would contact, oh, go ahead.
I would say I would refer them to Housing and Residence Life.
Right.
Right. Next question, how much illegal drug use do you have on campus and is it limited to certain types?
So the director has put up the link to the annual information that we share about crime statistics, but the answer to that question is, you know, Washington State is one of several states that has legalized marijuana. However, marijuana is illegal on Gonzaga's campus. So we do see marijuana on our campus. It's not immune like any other campus in the nation. We have seen other illicit drugs on campus as well. Those really are our small incidents on Gonzaga. We really see our major issue is underage drinking. But there are drug activities that go on campus, like I said, just like any other campus in the nation. To say what types of drugs we have, we've seen as much as any other campus seen in many different types of drugs on our campus, from prescription painkillers to marijuana to psychedelic mushrooms on our campus. But again, those are not the norm, but they happen.
Awesome. Okay. That's the last question that I have on here for now. We'll just let the participants get off in their own time. I will stay on here until they're all gone, but Phillip, Scott, and Becky, you guys are welcome to leave if you would like.
Well, we really appreciate the time, and especially the time that the parents and families are investing in getting to know us a little bit better as well. So we're always here. You can always call that number, 509-313-2222, and we'll get you to the right person.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.